Hello again. Here is our blue square video walkthrough for Unit 1 Intro to Science. Start by looking at the blue square learning target. I can correctly identify constants and variables from a scientific experiment. So we're going to be diving more deeply into the parts of an experiment, specifically identifying constants and variables. Task 1 is a set of notes. You should have this packet or this page in that packet that I handed out last semester. If you've lost this packet, you will need to handwrite all of this in instead of just filling in the blank. The video to help you fill that in is located just to the right. Task number 2 is an Edpuzzle video talking about the parts of an experiment, including controls, constants, and variables. You need to click your period link to access that video. As you're watching it, make sure you answer each of the questions. After each question, a note will pop up explaining what the correct answer was. Task 3 is identifying the independent and dependent variable. So this again is a paper that should be in your packet that I handed out to you. If you lost that packet, again, you will need to write down each of these 9 sentences and then highlight the independent variable green and the dependent variable blue. If you don't have highlighters, you don't have the ability to highlight this, there's a couple of things you could do to differentiate what you're doing. If you have colored pencils, circle the independent variable in green with your green colored pencil and circle the dependent variable in blue. That is fine too. It doesn't have to be a highlighter. If you don't have any colors at all, so you have no colored pencils, you don't have highlighters, all you have is a pen or pencil, I would recommend just coming up with some sort of a key. So if all I have is one pencil, maybe I'll underline in this first example, like different tire treads. I'll underline that and I'll mark it with a star. I know that's a little bit hard to read. This doesn't let me change the size of the ink. So if I was looking at a study that was done to find if different tire treads affect the braking distance, that star would represent the independent variable. So to include your key, all you would need to do is under independent variable at the top, give that same symbol, underline with a star. And then for dependent variable, maybe you could put a box around the dependent variable and then put that same symbol in the instructions to create a key. So even if you don't have colored pencils or any other way of highlighting these, you can still do this by creating a different symbol to represent independent variable and dependent variable. And that's one way that you can get around this. So that's task 3. Task 4 is practicing again identifying constants and variables and conclusions in actual experiments. This is a Google Classroom assignment. So you'll select your class period link. You'll open up the assignment in Google Classroom. Notice it just says, follow these instructions on the attached Google Doc to complete the assignment. All answers must be provided in complete sentences. So when we open up this document, there's 3 different experiments and questions that go along with each experiment. Experiment number 1 is one that I actually normally conduct in a classroom. However, since you're learning at home, you can't watch me do the video, so I've recorded myself doing the video. So watch the linked video and record the information below. You're going to record the temperature of the salt water cup and the tap water cup before I microwave them. And then you're going to record the temperature after I microwave them. And that was all included in the video. Then you're going to answer the questions. What's the purpose of experiment number 1? What's the independent variable from that experiment? Which means what was changed on purpose? What is the dependent variable from number 1? What was I measuring? And then what conclusions can you draw from the data? So what was the results of that experiment? Which cup heats up faster, salt water or tap water? Experiment number 2 says Jessica wants to find out if a new energy drink she has invented helps someone run faster. All of the athletes in the study had similar 100-meter dash times of about 10 seconds. Group A had 20 runners that drank the new energy drink. Group B had 23 runners that drank the flavored water. And then it gives their average running speeds after drinking. Group A went to 9.5 seconds. Group B averaged 9.9 seconds. So again, what's the independent variable? What did we change on purpose? Think about what group A got and what group B did not get to help you think about what was changed on purpose. What's the dependent variable? What are they measuring? Hint, they're measuring a time. What's the control group? Which means what group did not get the stuff we're testing? Which group did not get the energy drink? And then list, which means you don't need complete sentences for this one. What are three constants that would need to be included for this to be a valid experiment? What are things that would have to stay the same? Uh, for example, here's an example of a constant. If you had group A run on cement and group B run on grass, group A will naturally be faster. You can run much faster on cement than you can on grass. So one constant would be making sure the runners are on the same surface. That's an example of something that would need to be kept the same. And then finally is writing a conclusion for this experiment. I've included a sentence frame. The easiest way to do this is to copy the sentence frame into your answer box. If you just answer in the sentence frame, I won't see it. You need to put your answer in the box, and then you can fill it out from here. So it says, in Jessica's study, the energy drink, choose one. Did it work better or did it not work better? If I think it did not work, I would delete everything else but that. So then now it says, in Jessica's study, the energy drink did not work better than the flavored water. I know this because, and this is where you cite your data. So where in the data of this experiment where it talked about the running speeds, how do you know which thing is true? So that's how you'd use this sentence frame to answer that question. Then experiment number 3 is about Homer Simpson noticing a strange green slime and seeing if coconut juice will clean the slime better than water. Same set of questions: independent variable, dependent variable, constants. Did the coconut juice work in cleaning the slime? When you finish this assignment, make sure you press turn in. That takes us to task 5, which is scientific method in Mythbusters. Mythbusters was a great show. They used the scientific method very carefully to prove the myths false or to say if they were plausible or maybe even confirmed. So the episode that I've included, this is bugging me, hold on just a second. So the episode that I included in the Mythbusters is about moon myths. Did we really go to the moon? There's a conspiracy theory that says we did not. They test the claims of the conspiracy theorists to try and disprove them. You're just going to choose one myth that you're watching. The video is linked in Edpuzzle. There's no questions in Edpuzzle. It's just going to show me if yes, I did or did not actually watch the video. It'll only tell me if you watched the video. What you're doing with the video is saying, which of the experiments that they tested are you focusing on? For example, they look at non-parallel shadows. They look at the appearance of weightlessness from bouncing on the moon. They look at the footprints left in the lunar regolith. They look at the waving of the flag. There's several different experiments you can focus on. You only need to choose one. Number 2, describe briefly how they tested it. What was their setup? What was their experimental procedure? How did they test the claim? Number 3, what was the independent variable? So what did they change on purpose? Number 4, what was the dependent variable? What did they measure as a result of that? Number 5, what conclusions did the Mythbusters draw? Was the myth busted, confirmed, or plausible? And then what evidence did they use to support that conclusion? So you're going to fill out this information during the episode of Mythbusters. This will just go into your next episode of next page of your science notebook. And then task 6 is showing me your notebook pages. Again, this is in Google Classroom. Open up the assignment. And it will tell you what pictures you need to include. From task 1, you need a picture of your constants and variables notes. From task 3, you need a picture of your independent and dependent variable where you highlighted the independent and dependent variable. From task 5, you need your scientific method Mythbusters page filled out and completed. So this will tell you what pictures you need and what task from my website those were in case if you need a reference. After you've added all those pictures and turned it in, By the way, notice again, if you are missing any pictures, your score will be a 0. So you need to have all the pictures. After you've turned that in, take the level up quiz. The button will take you right to the quiz. Once again, you need to get 100%. If you do not get a 100% on the blue square and then you continue and start your black diamond assignments, I will not score any of those black diamond assignments. They will all be zeros because you did not get a 100% on the level up quiz. If you're stuck and you can't get 100%, contact me. I will help you with the answers. You don't have to sit there and figure it out on your own forever, but I do want to make sure you've gotten all of the questions correct before moving on. Once you've scored 100%, you can then start the black diamond section, and that walkthrough will be included in there. Thanks.